All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Esther. Thank you for joining me for another English grammar lesson on this live stream. I have weekly live streams, so thank you for being here. I know that you guys might be busy, but I'm really glad that you're joining us today. Let's see who's here. I see Isa. Hi. Jenabu, welcome back. Sonia Preet. Hi, how are you? Evgeny, Isabel, Zakia, Megna, Hamza, hi, and Yajis, hi. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing? I hope that you are well. Please remember to say hi to Robin, who's here in the chat with us to give me some support and to help me out. Are you guys excited for today's grammar lesson? I hope you are. All right, so we have more people. We have Gopal, Prakar, hi, how are you? Christina, hi. Kamlesh, Win, Marlene, thank you so much for being here. I hope you all are doing very well. I'm going to start the lesson soon, but again, I want to thank you for joining us today. I hope that you will like the video, that you will comment in the chat and in the video, that you'll share this video and the channel with your friends, that you will consider supporting us by donating, and that you will connect with us on social media. And you can find all the links down below to find out how to do that. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into the lesson. And I'll be saying hi to more people as they join, and I'll try my best to answer all of your questions, but we're going to keep it brief. Prakar, thank you so much for your donation. You have been very, very generous, and I really, really appreciate that. With your support, Robin and I will continue to make wonderful videos, hopefully. Hopefully, you find them wonderful, and we'll be able to continue our work. Thank you so much. We both really, really appreciate your support. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with today's grammar lesson. Are you excited? I hope that you are. So let's begin. All right. Ooh, I need to move a little. Ooh, maybe even more. Okay, so today's grammar lesson is going to be on the past continuous. Ooh. Okay, on the past continuous tense. I hope you guys can hear me okay. So, as usual, we'll start with the lesson and then we'll move on to some practice questions. We'll finish up with some practice test questions, and then I'll finish by assigning some homework as I usually do. How has the homework been going for you? I hope it's not too challenging. Okay, I know you guys can do a great job. So let's go ahead and begin. The past continuous tense, we use it to describe an action or event that was ongoing. Okay, it was continuing, it was happening for a while, but in the past. Okay, so that's one of the basic uses of the past continuous tense. When we want to form the past continuous tense, we use the past tense of be, okay? So that's really important. We use the past tense of be. So we use was or were. Those are the two past tenses. So remember, I was, he was, she was, it was, and then you were, they were, we were. Okay, so remember, you have to think about the subject and then decide, do I use was or do I use were? You combine it with the present participle of the main verb that you're using. Okay, now present participle sounds kind of confusing, it sounds difficult, but really all you have to do is add ing to the main verb. Okay, add ing. Now, in terms of writing, the spelling might change a little bit, but when you're speaking, it's as simple as adding ing. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the example. So again, not the example, but when we write it out, again, we take the past tense of the be verb was and were, and then the present participle. The present participle. Again, that means adding ing. We also use the past continuous tense when we're describing an action that was happening in the past, right? We talked about an action or event that was continuing or happening for a time in the past, but then it was interrupted. Something happened in the middle of it, okay? So when we want to use the past continuous to talk about this, we use the words while or when to help explain what was going on and then what action interrupted it. Okay? So, for example, while I was eating, she called. So you see the past tense of the be verb was because the subject is I. And then we see the present participle of the verb eat. We added ing. While I was eating, so that's the action that was happening for a continued period of time. She called. Her calling, the call, interrupted me eating. Do you see that? And at the beginning, you can see I used the word while. So while is used with the continuing action. Okay, while is used with the continuing action. This sentence conveys the same meaning. I was eating when she called. Okay, so you'll notice that when we use when, we're describing the interrupting action. Okay, I was eating, right? There's the subject, there's the past tense of the be verb, and then we see the present participle of eat, right? That's how you make the past continuous. But then we add when she called. That's the interrupting action. So I hope that helps you understand, when do I use while? When do I use when? Okay, while is used with the continuous action. When is used with the interrupting action. All right. So here are some more examples. I was eating breakfast at 9 a.m. So if somebody says, hey, what were you doing yesterday? Or what were you doing today at 9 in the morning? Well, I was eating breakfast. That's what I was doing. Let's break it down. I was eating breakfast is the ongoing action. It's what was happening. Okay, it was happening for some time. At 9 a.m. tells us that this was happening in the past. Okay, it was happening earlier today in the morning. So it's the past. You'll notice that because the subject is I, we use was. Okay, the past tense of the be verb was is the proper verb to use for the past continuous in this example. And we use the present participle of the verb eat. The main verb was eat. We add ing. I was eating breakfast at 9 a.m. What were you doing today at 9 a.m.? I was eating breakfast at 9 a.m. And here's another example for the to event sentence that I was talking about. While I was washing the dishes, I heard a loud noise. I'm going to give you guys some time. I want you to think, what's the action that was happening for some time and what's the interrupting action? I want you to think about it. I'll give you a few seconds and then I'll explain. Okay, so I hope you know that the continuing action was washing the dishes. Okay, you'll notice I used the word while in this example to go with the action that was continuing. Okay, thank you. Yes, Magna, that's correct. Now, what's the interrupting action? Very good, Magna. It's that I heard a loud noise. What do you notice about the interrupting action? Do you notice anything about the verb tense of the interrupting action? Well, you should notice that the interrupting action is used in the past simple tense, right? I heard a loud noise. Okay, past simple tense for the interrupting action. So let's break it down. Event one, I started washing the dishes, right? And I was doing them. I heard a loud noise. That's event number two, the interrupting action. Good. It seems like you guys understand it, and I'm very happy to hear that. All right, let's move on. Was is the verb tense that I'm going to use because the subject is I, right? And the present participle of the main verb wash is washing. I hope you guys are following along. And there we go again. For the interrupting action, we use the past simple tense. We're now going to start the practice. You'll notice that today I put a little bit less information just to keep it more simple. Feel free to ask questions and I'll be adding some more details as we go. So please try this question. Write your answers in the chat. I blank, the main verb I want you to try is work. All day yesterday, right? It shows that this action was continuing for some time. So please share your answers in the chat and we'll go over the correct answer in just a little bit. Okay, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your ID, your name, but you wrote woked. Now that's a good try, but I want, or worked. I want you to try checking your answers. Remember, we need to use the present participle. The present participle. So Magna ML says working. I was working all day yesterday. Rhoda, I was working all day yesterday. Okay, so it sounds like you guys are getting the hang of it. When you, all right, good. Okay, great job. So the correct answer is I was working all day yesterday. Evgeny and Samyog, Dahal, great job. We use the past tense of be, was here, because the subject is I. Then we use the present participle by adding ing to the main verb work. So the correct answer is I was working all day yesterday. You guys did a great job. Let's try another practice. All right. So this is Batman says I was looking all the night. Okay, so it looks like you tried to use your own verb and that's okay. But I was looking all night for what? What were you looking for? Okay. Or what were you looking at? Please try your answers for practice number 2 in the chat. You'll notice here we're doing the two events, right? While I, remember we used the word while for the continuous action. So think about how can I make this a past continuous sentence? And then the interrupting action, I started to feel sick. Again, you'll notice that the interrupting action is in the past simple tense. So let's see. Magna, while I was eating, I started to feel sick. Yoza says was eating. Winyu also says was eating. Sounds good to me. Samyuk, while I was eating, I started to feel sick. All right, it sounds like you guys got it. And you guys are right. The correct answer is while I was eating, I started to feel sick. Hamza, great job. Okay, good. Muhammad, thank you. Practice question number 3. Okay, now I didn't go over exactly how to form the negative, but the reason why I did that is I think you guys can figure out how to do it. Okay, here we have she and then blank. We have N apostrophe T. If you guys remember from past lessons, that's probably a contraction for not, right? So what goes before that? And then using the main verb study, how can we change that to make this a past continuous sentence. So she blinked blank before her test. Go ahead and try your answers, and I'm going to quickly write the form on the board so you guys can see. Okay, Win says wasn't studying. All right, let's wait for some more answers. Okay, Rhoda says she wasn't studying before her test. Okay, Kiramat is practicing some of the past ones. Good. While I was eating, that's correct. Megna wasn't studying. Samyak wasn't studying. Okay. Alexander wasn't studying. Okay. Yosa says was studying. Okay, good. And then remember the N apostrophe T is there, so it would change to wasn't. Joel wasn't studying. Okay, it looks like you guys got it. Muhammad wasn't studying. Win New asks, while I was writing in my diary, your live stream started. Is this correct? And yes, it is. Good job. While I was writing in my diary, or while I was writing my diary, that's okay too. Your live stream started. That's amazing. Great job. Okay, so you guys got it right. You guys have mastered it already. That's awesome. Okay, then let's move on to practice question number 4. There we are. That's the correct answer. You guys got it. Okay. Practice question number 4. They blank watch TV before they went to bed. Okay, so pay attention to the subject, they. That's my clue for you. Okay, so please write your answers in the chat. All right, we see we're watching from a few people. That's very good. Okay, my Tao, we're watching, says we're watching. Joel, they were watching TV before they went to bed. All right. Sounds pretty good so far. Let me share the answer. I know that some of you guys are still trying, and that's great. Okay. The correct answer, you guys got it. The correct answer is they were watching TV before they went to bed. Great, great job. Okay. Now, practice question number 5. Might be a little bit tricky, but I think you guys will handle it no problem. I want you to try the interrogative, the question. Blink, she blink before her test? It might sound tricky, it might seem tricky, but it's really not. All you have to do is look at the subject, right? And then think about the present participle for the verb study. Blink, she blink before her test? Okay, please go ahead and try submitting your answers in the chat, and we'll go over the correct answer in just a minute. Okay, Yosa says, was studying. Okay, it looks like you just filled in the blanks. That's fine. Was she studying? Rhoda says, wasn't she studying? Okay, I like that. Rhoda tried to do the negative interrogative, and that's fine as well. When new, was she studying? Fanny, hi, how are you? Was she study? Okay, was she study before her test? Fanny, that's a great try. I want you to remember that for the past continuous, we use the present participle of the verb. That means we add ing. So why don't you try one more time to edit your answer? Magna, was she studying before her test? Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and look at the correct answer. All right, you guys got it. The correct answer is, was she studying before her test? Okay, great. Now let's move on to some test questions. Now that you've got the practice down, the test should not be difficult at all. All right, test question number 1, super easy. All I want you to do is decide which past tense of the be verb should I use for the subject we. Is it was or is it were? All right, and then we have the present participle of the verb dance. So go ahead, please share your answers in the chat, and I will give you the answer in just a little bit. Hello, Anfal. How are you? Thank you for joining. Okay, seems like you guys have the right idea, so let me share the answer. The correct answer is were. Great job. We were dancing. Okay, question number 2, test question number 2. Okay, Win asks, while I was riding motorcycle, I saw an accident. While I was riding my motorcycle, I saw an accident. Yes, that is an interruption. You were riding your motorcycle. You started in the past, and in the past you were still going. And then in the middle of it, or at the end, no, it doesn't matter. But while you were doing that, you saw an accident. So that makes sense. Good job. Okay. For test question number 2, I want you to try making a sentence using the information here. We have the subject, we have the object, and we have the verb, the main verb. All right, go ahead and please write your complete sentence in the chat. Okay, Kendra Saputra says he washed the car. Now, Kendra, that's a great try. Just remember, for the past continuous, we have to use the present participle of the main verb. So here, the main verb is wash. Do you remember how to make it in the present participle? Why don't you try again? Okay, submit your answer one more time. Magna says he was washing the car. So does Anfal. Says he was washing the car. Evgeny, he were washing the car. Okay, Evgeny, that's a great try. Remember, we can choose was or were, right? But for I, he, she, and it, we use the base verb was. So let's go ahead. I will share the answer with you now. The correct answer for test question number 2 is he was washing the car. A lot of people say we were washing the car, and that makes sense. That's correct. But in this example, I wanted you to try the subject he. Okay, because we want to practice many different subjects, right? He, like Robin, or maybe another person, right? Joel, right? He, we use the be verb, past tense be verb, was. All right, let's move on to test question number 3. Look at the directions here. I want you to make a question. Okay, make a question. So go ahead and write your question in the chat. The subject is we, the main verb is drink, and the object is tea. Okay, so please go ahead and share your answers in the chat. I will give you some feedback. Okay, Wilson shares he was not washing the car, I was washing the car. That's correct. You can use that sentence. Makes sense. Win says, were we drinking tea? Looks good. Let's see what other people have to say. All right. Joel Castillo says, were they drinking tea? Now that makes sense. Joel, that's correct. However, please try making the sentence or making the question with the subject we. Iguan Style John says, did we drink tea? Now, if we were doing this lesson on the past simple tense, then you'd be correct. However, we're doing the past continuous. So first, you want to use the past tense be verb. Not did, we want to use was or were. Okay, and then we need to use the present participle of the verb drink. So somewhere in that question, you need to have the verb drinking. Okay, so please try again, but great try. Evgeny, were we drinking a tea? Okay, and that's great. Let me share the answer. The answer here is, were we drinking tea? So Evgeny, that's great. The only thing is we want to take out a T. Take out a or a, the letter A, because we'll talk about this more a little bit later, but T is not countable. Okay, we can't count how many teas there are. We can count tea bags, but we can't count tea. So we would take out a and just simply say, were we drinking tea? And you guys got it. So many of you got the correct answer. So I know that you guys are understanding this lesson, even though I didn't give you all that information. You guys are getting it. So happy to see that. Test question number 4. They blank dinner when you arrived. All right. Wilson asks, Esther, have you ever, I think it would be drunk. Have you ever drunk British tea? I don't think so. I know that in the UK, you guys add like milk, right? And is it just milk? Milk and sugar, right? I have not tried that, but I would love to try it. It sounds delicious. Okay. So again, the subject here is they. All right. And here you can choose your own verb. Remember to use the present participle. Okay, they blank dinner. We see the word when you arrived. You'll notice that arrived is in the past simple tense, meaning that something was happening when you arrived and interrupted the action that was happening. All right, let's look at some of your answers. Yoza says were. All right, Yoza, good, but we need a verb, okay? Choose a verb, please. Megna, they were having dinner when you arrived. Okay, Mai Tao, were cooking. Great. Joel, were cooking. All right, sounds great. Fairy, Satyawan, they already dinner when you arrived. Now that's a great try. You can use already, but actually, because we're doing the past continuous, we would not use already. Okay, so I want you to think of, do I use was or were? Okay, we need to choose one of those. Look at the subject to decide was or were, and then choose a verb and add ing. They were having dinner when you arrived says Isa Isa. And Samyak, they were eating dinner when you arrived. All right, looks good. They were eating dinner when you arrived. That's the answer that I put. But some of you said they were cooking dinner, they were having dinner. Those are all great answers. So feel free to practice your creativity, and those look great. All right. Test question number 5. I had a bad dream while I blank. Okay, I had a bad dream while I blank. Okay, so you notice I had a bad dream. That's the interrupting action because it's in the past simple tense. While is used with the continuous action. So the subject is I, think of, which be verb do I use in the past tense, and what present participle verb can I use? Well, for sleep. How do I change sleep into the present participle? Jefferson, hi. Oh, thank you for your big hug from Brazil. I really appreciate that. One day I hope to be able to travel to Brazil. Okay, Rhoda says, I was sleeping. Win was sleeping. Fairy, I had a bad dream while I was sleeping. Good. Okay. Alexander says, while I wasn't sleeping. Now, I really like that you're trying some different forms, some different types of sentences. Um, I guess in the context, though, it wouldn't really make sense because you don't have dreams when you're not sleeping normally. Maybe some people do, maybe a daydream. But yeah, normally you could use while I wasn't sleeping, but it might make more sense to say while I was awake, something like that. All right, thank you everybody for submitting your answers and giving it a shot. The correct answer is I had a bad dream while I was sleeping. I had a bad dream while I was sleeping. Thank you so much for submitting your answers and trying your best. Okay, we are close to the end of our past continuous lesson. Thank you so much for trying. It looks like a lot of you got it correct. I'm so happy to see that you guys are following this lesson and understanding it. Okay, so as I said, we're wrapping up the lesson. I'm going to give you some homework before I go. All right, so remember, Robin and I will check your homework and give you some feedback. So please try to do it when you have time. So for homework this week, all I want you to do is give some more example sentences using the past continuous in the comment section. Okay, now I want you to try many different types. You can try the affirmative, you can try the negative, try the interrogative, right? Ask some questions if you can. Practice using the two event sentences, right? While I was doing something, this happened, right? Or I was doing this when this interrupted, this happened. Try using different subjects. A lot of the examples today were using the subject I, but maybe you will like to practice, trying some different subjects. I would really like to see all the creativity that you guys can come up with, the creative sentences and examples. All right. So we have come to the end of our lesson. I hope that you enjoyed the lesson. I hope that you learned a lot. So thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you for sharing your answers and for being brave. And thank you for paying attention and editing and things like that. So I hope to see you here again next week and that you will like, comment, do your homework, share, connect with us on social media, and consider donating so that we can make more live streams. So, Alexander, thank you so much for being a great student. Mai Tao, thank you. Sweet dreams to you as well. Have a good night. Megna, has a question. Can we use the past continuous to talk about parallel actions? I was watching TV while my mom was cooking. That's a great question and a great example. That sentence looks good. I was watching TV while my mom was cooking. Again, you'll notice that while was used to talk about the continuous action in the past, right? So yes, those two actions were happening for some time in the past at the same time. Looks good. Wilson, good. I'm so glad that you're learning. Catrick, you're welcome. All right. Thank you so much for the sweet comments. I hope you have a wonderful week and I will see you next week. Bye.